Supervive just released its winter patch, and spoiler alerts, it's going to shift the whole meta. So let's go ahead and go through it real quick. The first thing on the notes is double refer friend points. That's kind of cool, I guess. If you refer some friends, you get extra points towards the skins and whatnot. Doesn't really affect the game. Next up, there's a ranked restriction revert. We made these changes last week and announced them on X, but I wanted to put them into the patch notes for posterity's sake. A summary of the context is, last patch, we put in squad size party restrictions for Masters Plus players to try and balance out Giga Stompy squads comprised of literal top 4 players of Supervive. On checking through the data, it seems that the change just didn't do what we wanted, so we're reverting it. We also acknowledge that there's a real hard trade at the highest levels of play between competitive integrity and playing with friends. If friends happen to be great at Supervive, your sum of parts becomes basically unbeatable. We know this, you know this, and we're going to let it ride for now. In January, we already have some ranked upgrades cooking, but in the meantime, let's just slam games with our friends and see how much RP there is to be harvested in the world. So we're going to get matchmaking improvements in January, but that's not quite coming right now. As they mentioned in the patch, they've already made these changes, but to recap, they've reverted the Masters Plus squad restrictions on both duo and squad queue, so you can queue up with 4 people at a time. They've also tightened up the matchmaking at the top end, meaning that the top players are going to queue up with top players more often, which is a good thing, but that means they'll be on longer queues. This is pretty standard if you've ever played games like League of Legends. You'll often end up waiting in long queues anyways, so it's just to be expected if you're a high elo player. If you're a legendary rated player, you gain access to custom games. That's cool too. Upcoming progression and store changes. We're jumping backwards and forwards through time right now, but wanted to give you a heads up of some progression and store changes planned for our December 18th patch. A big theme we've been hearing is that there isn't enough progression content to unlock in the game. I agree with this completely. It feels like, especially with like no real in-game currency besides the progression pass, I guess, it feels really awkward to play the game. If you think about, once again, League of Legends, you have like Blue Essence where you can unlock a bunch of things. You also have like chests you can get where you can unlock cool skins, and I feel like this game is kind of missing stuff like that. We're cooking up our battle pass for Season 0, but don't want to wait that long. So here are some changes going live on December 18th. We're adding Hunter Mastery level 6 for all hunters, with a 150 vibe point reward. If you're Hunter Mastery level 6 or on a hunter already, you can claim this immediately. We're also adding a Hunter Mastery pass that will grant limited time rewards for how many Hunter Mastery levels you have in total. We're adding the option to purchase rare level skins, some wisps, gliders, and emotes for vibe points in the store. It'll be interesting to see how many vibe points this will cost, especially since hitting Mastery 6 will take a decent amount of time and you only get 150 vibe points. So depending on the cost of that, it could be pretty cool. If it ends up being something that is basically inaccessible, then that's a little bit cringe, but we'll have to see whatever they cook up on the 18th. We've also heard feedback that waiting to buy a skin for your hunter is annoying. We'd like to have enough content that we can rotate in the shop and have something to always buy, but we won't be there for some time. So for now, we're going to put all the skins that we have ready to the store through at least January 15th. This should give us some time to make more. Our deal is to have at least one purchasable skin option for your hunter at any point in time, so we'll slowly move toward that reality. Honestly, I'm not a fan of the rotating thing at all. I understand, to say once again, games like League have things like legacy content and whatnot. You can't always buy skins all the time, but I mean, they kind of mentioned it here. For a game this small with this little skins, it doesn't make sense to have a rotating format, and it sounds like even if they work on that in the future, with the game not having that many skins and probably not going to produce too many in the near future, I'm just not a fan of the rotating shop at all. I feel like they should just get rid of it. All right, let's move on to the actual patch now. The Gift Giver. A new gift-giving NPC now roams around on the map. Maybe you can give them something in return. I mean, we'll just have to see what that does. It obviously doesn't explain it there, but I guess we'll have to see. You guys can check out whatever that does on my live stream, I guess, twitch.tv/Rhinne. Oath has been dominant in the competitive scenes for some time now, establishing himself as a must-pick character in most comps. We're looking to create more opportunities for enemies to take advantage of his broken shield and also removing some of his CC chain potential. So they reduced his wall stun duration to 0.5 seconds, so a 50% nerf on that. That's pretty big. And then his regen field, healing reduced by 20% at all levels. That's pretty decent. No longer repairs broken shield. So this only repairs your shield if it's not broken already, so you're going to have to play more smart around the shield. Only heals shield if shield is active. Yeah, it mentions it right there. All right, pretty good nerfs for Oath. He'll probably still be a strong pick, but I mean, yeah, not really much to say. Just good nerfs. I like him. Zeph has been a dominant pick in competitive as well. Stood around as the meta protector pick for some time now. We've also heard some feedback about how strong his burst healing feels compared to a Luna, so we're hitting that. So they're lowering the heal by 15%, and then they're increasing the cast time by an entire second. Not the cast time, the minimum heal. So you can't just like spam burst heal someone instantly and go boop, boop, and then they just get their full health bar. Now you have to go boop, 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 or something like that. So they're still going to heal pretty fast, especially since Zeph can get you from basically like 20% to full HP. But I mean, good nerf. He's still going to be an extremely strong character. He's probably still going to be the better healer, honestly. I, yeah, I don't know. There's only 2 healers in the game. I guess 2.5 if you consider Oath. So it's pretty hard for them to balance healers right now because healing is just like a super strong archetype. And with them only being 2 of them, one of them is naturally going to be overpowered. I don't think there's a real way for them to balance either of these characters until they add more healers to the game. So hopefully they add more healers soon. Amplifier. I know seeing 2 sets of amplifier nerfs sounds like a lot, but amplifier CDR interacts with equipment CDR in a stronger way, or in stronger than anticipated ways. And we've been getting ongoing feedback from our veteran players that amplifier is still extremely strong. We'll share some math. So they reduced the CDR stack by half, so it goes from 5% to 2.5 per stack. So you only get 25 at max rank. Pre-nerf 2 haste items, the amplifier gave 32 CDR. Pre-nerf 2 haste items with a fully stacked amplifier gave 60% CDR. Post-nerf, 2 haste items with the fully stacked amplifier will give 50% CDR on the amplified ability. Actually, honestly, it's not that big of a nerf. This mainly, actually, I thought this would be a way bigger nerf because you're essentially like nerfing it by half, but because of the way that there's a CDR soft cap, it looks like a 10% nerf only. That's not even that bad. Fix some cases where a single ability case would cause amplifier to stack multiple times, like Brawl Tether. I thought they already addressed that in the previous hotfix. Maybe they're just adding it here too? I mean, interesting change. The thing is, I know a lot of the considered weaker characters end up using amplifier. So characters like Jhin and characters like Ghost are heavily reliant on amplifier. So seeing those characters nerfed is kind of weird. I don't think Brawl is chains to amplifier either, so this doesn't nerf him as hard as it would the other characters. I'm sure they'll end up balancing whatever in the future patch coming in a week on the 18th, based off whatever the amplifier ends up nerfing, but it's probably healthier for the game that they have amplifier nerfed, as some of the other weapon options feel pretty mediocre to use. I know I've been playing a lot of Myth recently, and it feels like because I can't use amplifier, my options are pretty bad. So maybe actually instead of nerfing amplifier, they should have just buffed some of the other options so you're more incentivized to take other things. But I guess this is where they want the power level to be right now. Anyway, moving on to the next part. Storm shifts. Snowball fight. Everyone spawns with a soulbound snowball power. Okay? Snow bombers. Bombing runs pepper the land and turn everyone into snow people. Honestly, that is way better than getting nuked randomly and just getting completely screwed. But I mean, I guess in a way, especially if you're in like late game scenarios, this screws you over. You stand at the spot as well. But I hope it doesn't like make the ground unwalkable for like the solid 5 seconds or whatever after you get nukes or gets nuked, like the old storm shift that I'm forgetting the name of is, whatever the bombing field is. And then gifts from above. Does what it says. Use your deductive reasoning. Okay. And they're adding some event powers to the game too. Snowball, Snowball Launcher present, Express Delivery, Avalanche, Mega Avalanche, Little Helper, and Emergency Penguin. Emergency Penguin? Is that going to be like the Emergency Turtle where you like tether allies to you? That'd be kind of sick. I've yet to test those, so we'll see what those feel like in game. Map changes. There's a new holiday lobby. Breakable ice has creeped from the northern biomes and into the rest of the map. I don't like that. There are new holiday map additions everywhere. Trees, cliffside tinsels, and decals, a winter train, snow people, and presents to be found. A winter train sounds cool. You have like a little sleigh. What if they have like Santa in the front and you have like a, or actually no. You have the reindeer in the front. You have Santa being the conductor or whatever on the train. That'd be pretty sick. Actually, wait, yeah. Why does it say train? Why doesn't it say like it's a sleigh or something? That would have been cooler. Quests. Drop leader can pick a starter quest during the drop phase. This change will show the quest shop to the drop leader until the initial quest has been selected or until they interact with the quest giver. So they have a quest giver and you can get it at the start of the game. That's interesting. Now, one change I did see over here that we're going to see in a second. Actually, I'll just talk through these. Quest changes. Added a second PvP quest, Team Wipe. This quest only shows up if you've already completed Brawlers. Vault Hunters no longer spawns books. It just instantly grants 150 EXP to all teammates. So this is a huge meta shift. And I think this is actually a really good change, especially for new players. Because if you're a new player, you don't even know that taking Vault Hunters is just the meta right now, and it's insanely overpowered. Getting to ultimates on day one is just absolutely ridiculous. And if one of your teammates ends up griefing you and taking like the farming creeps quest or something, you are just completely screwed. So I do like this change. The one thing I see as a problem from this is that makes Academy dropping even stronger than it already was. Academy drop was already pretty strong because you hit level 6 over there on at least 2 of your players. So that was pretty ridiculous. But now, on top of that, the rest of the map is only going to be stuck at level 4 unless they end up in PvP. So maybe they'll have to tune Academy. We'll see. Farm creeps. Number of creeps reduced from 16 to 12. That's good because Farm Creeps was the worst quest in the game. Farm Creeps reward changed from 4 Vibrew, 1 Hyper Scrap to 3 Vibrew, 1 Hyper Vibe, 1 Hyper Scrap. Yeah, it's kind of weird to have 4 Vibrew be the reward if you can only hold 3, so that makes sense. And then rewards show up next to whoever got the last creep kill. You used to pick a random teammate. Oh, that's for the Farm Creeps quest. Okay, I actually never even noticed that was a thing. Interesting. New missions, gift exchange, interact with the gift giver. The power of winter, use winter powers. Presenting, as a team, open 15 presents. Build a snowman, turn others into snowmen, or become one yourself. Wintry weather, play winter storm shifts. So I'm assuming this is just for like EXP for the progression pass, the missions that is, or maybe we get nice stuff. It doesn't really mention here, so it's a little bit cringe. Trapped players can now leave early. After a player's been dead for 3 minutes without being revived, they're allowed to leave the game. The early exit button appears after 90 seconds of being dead, along with the timer showing how long you have until you can leave. Your ally's status has a progress bar and the countdown that will appear with 90 seconds remaining. Fix a bug that would cause Discord and other applications to quit if Supervive was left running for a long time. I actually really like the being able to leave if you're not being revived change, because I've definitely had games, especially when you play with like a lower rated players or whatever, that are a little bit lost in what they're doing because obviously they're new to the game, where I get stuck being dead for such a long time and it feels like I can't play the game, and maybe they have like their mics muted or whatever, they're not paying attention. So it feels nice that you can just leave the game if someone is either not sure about what to do, or maybe they're even intentionally griefing you. That could be a problem too. So good change. I wasn't even thinking about something like that being added to the game, so props to the devs for that one. Then a bunch of bug fixes over here. Let's just read through these quickly. After the patch, we'll be rolling out our networking changes that should improve the latency for a number of players that have been experiencing worse than expected latency to our high-owned Hong Kong servers. Huge thanks to players who went through the pile of troubleshooting steps for us to figure this out. Actually, I'm pretty sure I've been getting 10 ping higher since the patch. That's kind of unlucky for me, but I guess lucky for other players. Feels really bad to be me. I might need to start VPNing in order to lower it. Leaderboards and stat screens and anywhere else that displays damage will no longer calculate overkill damage. Dude, that means I don't get the stat pad on Jhin anymore with my with my E, or with my Q rather. That's unfortunate. I'm gonna do even less damage. Increased EXP gains from playing arena matches to be more similar to Battle Royale. That's good. You can now progress Hunter Mastery missions in arena games. That's also good. Improved AFK detection in arena. Can now preview skins, their variants, and finishers in the store. A good change. Fix an issue causing Oath's abilities to be much louder than they should be. Technically, this is a buff to Oath because it means you can't hear him from as far away, but it's probably healthier for the game. Fix a bug causing Creep Cloner to reset Hunter abilities. Creep Cloner is now back available as a power. Fix a bug that caused the Luna to sometimes be permanently grounded by Hudson's barbed wire. Fix a bug that causes Oath's Bright Shield to sometimes be invisible to enemies. That's a good change. Fix a bug causing Jhin to sometimes be locked to using abilities when using Flip Slash. Is that what caused the bug? The way you fix this bug is you just use your glider again. But there are so many times in the middle of combat that I just wouldn't be able to attack. And I've lost so many kills because of it. It happens so often. So I'm really glad to change that or fix that. Removed collision from biome chests. Trees created from tree costume should now match the tree of the biome that you're in. That's a good change. It helps you be a little bit more stealthy. And fix the bug that sometimes causes enemies to be permanently stunned by Void Singularity. Thank you, Netfoley, for the report. I mean, if we're being honest, if you get hit by Void's ult, you're just going to be permanently stunned anyway until you die, so what's the difference? Anyway, pretty small patch, but honestly pretty big meta shifts, especially given the Vault Hunter change, which I think is healthy for the game. Once again, it helps out new players a lot because they're not running into teams that are level 5 and they have no idea how they even got there, and you don't get griefed by newer players picking the less meta quests anymore, so that's great. Love the nerfs to specific characters like Oath and Zeph. Surprised we didn't see any buffs on this patch, especially when we're nerfing Amplifier for some of the characters that are already weaker like Ghost. But maybe they want to see how the balance changes end up shifting the meta and then balance it from there in the next patch. We'll have to see. Make sure you guys subscribe for more Supervive content, and until next time, take care.